The Nintendo Switch 2 trailer has officially dropped, and with it a question. What on earth is that button for? You've probably spotted it yourself. There's this strange blank square button on the right Joy-Con, and no one is entirely sure what it does. In the trailer, it looks blank, but leaks suggest that the button actually has a C embossed on it, something Nintendo obscured in the announcement trailer for the Nintendo Switch 2. As other major leaks have been spot on about the Nintendo Switch 2, the assumption is that this button will, indeed, eventually be revealed to have a C on it. But why? What does that C stand for? And what does that mean for the button's purpose? I've rounded up the most convincing theories about what this button could actually be for, but if you think you have any other suggestions that could be legit, let me know in the comments below, because I am bamboozled. The first suggestion I have for you is that the C would actually stand for campus, and pressing it would bring you to a university-esque, Miiverse spiritual successor campus, where you can interact with other people who own a Nintendo Switch 2 via their online personas, which resemble something like the Miis. The idea of the Nintendo Switch 2 having a social networking hub that's themed somewhat around the idea of a university campus is adorable and actually feels distinctly Nintendo, so although this might sound out there at first, it is something I can absolutely see happening. When the Miiverse was still alive, because it is dead now, rest in peace, it allowed users to share their accomplishments, comments, and also handwritten notes, which was adorable. Yes, I'm sure there were certain things drawn on those notes, and if the same thing makes its way into Nintendo Switch 2 Campus, I assume they'll have some pretty strong limits on what you can and can't do. But the novelty of sharing handwritten notes with other Miis was absolutely adorable, and something that I think people were really sad to see go. The Miiverse got shut down in 2017, but it didn't actually appear on the Nintendo Switch, so having a campus on the Nintendo Switch 2 could fill that void somewhat. Although the Miiverse itself might be dead, the idea of handwritten notes has lived on in other Nintendo games. Splatoon 2, Splatoon 3, and Super Mario Maker 2 included a community messaging feature that's reminiscent of the Miiverse's handwritten message and drawing function. So, considering a similar mechanic is in Splatoon 3, there's no reason that Nintendo might not want to bring it to the Nintendo Switch 2 and make it more widely available, no matter if you own Splatoon 3 or not. If the campus theory is accurate, that would also mean that we would have to have some kind of persona or figure or me online to use on the campus. Now, Nintendo are inextricably linked to the Miis themselves, so perhaps they would bring the Miis back, or there would be a more upgraded version of them, or you might be able to create your own Mario-esque or Link-esque character to run around as online on the campus. All of the above sounds like something that I would absolutely spend hours in character creation doing, but is a little left field, so out of all the different theories I have in this video, I do think this campus one is the least likely to actually happen. The second theory I have for you is that the C button could actually stand for cast. This would mean that you'd press the C button and then your Nintendo Switch 2 would cast wirelessly to the nearest screen that obviously has the same kind of function. The idea here is that the Nintendo Switch 2 would act not only as its own controller, but also as a second screen of sorts for whatever game you happen to be playing. This would be really similar to the way the Wii U worked with games like Wind Waker, where they added extra context to whatever the hell it was you were doing. It doesn't take much lateral thinking to think about the Nintendo Switch 2 screen acting like a map that you could glance down at, or a journal or somewhere where you can see your quests. It's not been confirmed yet, but if the Nintendo Switch 2 has a touchscreen, there's also the possibility for the Switch 2 to essentially become a notepad that you can draw on. Maybe you can annotate maps, or you can then hand the notes to people in the game. I didn't, having now said that out loud, that sounds like it would become dodge real quickly. This would work especially well for games like the Okami sequel, where in the original you use the Wiimote to draw symbols in order to create bombs or something. With the Nintendo Switch 2 touchscreen, you could instead draw those symbols using your finger. It would mess up the screen and make it real grubby and greasy, but it would embody the same feeling that you got from using the Wiimote as your own celestial brush. It was really sick. If you haven't played Okami, please go ahead and do that now. Oh, fantastic! You're back from playing Okami. I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, the third theory for what the C button could stand for is connect. The theory here is that you'd be able to press the connect button to share your achievements, video clips, or screenshots to social media, to places like Twitter/X, Instagram, or TikTok, although by the time the Switch 2 comes out, I have no idea where TikTok is going to be, so maybe I should say Xiaohongshu instead. On the other side of the coin, connect could also refer to connecting to multiple switches. If you don't have an internet connection, this could be a way to utilize Bluetooth to play multiplayer games together, even without the reach of the internet being nearby. When the Switch came out, Nintendo really liked to market it as a device that could be used to bring people together. So the idea of not needing an internet connection to link together multiple Nintendo Switch 2s does sound like it would be in Nintendo's realm of things they want to happen. Essentially, that would make the connect button something like a Bluetooth pairing system, and I'm betting that with games like Mario Kart 9 coming out, wanting to get people playing together as quickly and easily as possible is very much something that Nintendo would be concerned with. Okay, another word beginning with C that I can shoehorn into the C button's purpose is change. I know, it's a stretch, but hear me out. With the Joy-Cons being teased to work similarly to optical mice, pressing the C button could alter the way the Nintendo Switch 2 reads your Joy-Cons. This would mean you could switch in between mouse mode and the traditional controller mode, although the faff of doing that would be quite something to behold, because you'd either have to have a surface on which to move the mouse around, or be able to use something like your thigh to move the mouse around on top of. This doesn't seem particularly likely, I know, but it could be a way to force the Nintendo Switch 2 into reading your Joy-Con as a mouse. It could be almost some kind of failsafe that you can use in case the Joy-Con doesn't detect that you have changed its orientation from horizontal to vertical. This is a real obvious one. The C could stand for chat, allowing you to talk to other people who are playing on the Nintendo Switch 2. Upon pressing the button, you'd either be able to use a third-party microphone or a mic built into the Switch 2 itself to talk to people online, and I'm sure in games like Fortnite you will say lovely, endearing, encouraging things to each other. Alternately, pressing the C button could bring up a dialogue box where you can type your message instead, although that sounds like a lot more of a faff than simply speaking the message you have for your fellow compatriots. In all likelihood, the Switch 2 keyboard is going to be relegated to naming your characters and also searching for games in the Nintendo Switch store. I also can't imagine it's a particularly seamless process to change from playing the Switch 2 in its controller, console, handheld mode to then typing on its touchscreen with your finger and getting it all grubby in the process. And finally, the final functionality of the button is not connected to the C letter at all, but I'm going to say it anyway. The idea is that the button is in fact a very teeny tiny trackpad. This teeny tiny trackpad would sense the pressure of your finger in order to act like a trackpad. And yes, I know this one sounds absolutely ridiculous. It also sounds ridiculous because why would you not just use the joysticks on the Switch 2? And it doesn't look like it's in a particularly ergonomic position if the idea is that you can use that button while you're using the Joy-Cons like a mouse. You'd have to somehow reconcile yourself with getting the claw if you intend on using the trackpad at the same time as using the right Joy-Con as a mouse. I really can't think of anything else to say to back up this trackpad theory, so with that, we are done. Those are the wildest theories that I found online about what that mysterious button on the Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Con could be for, but if you think you have a suggestion that somehow pairs with the C leaks as well, do let me know about it in the comments below. If you liked or even barely tolerated this video, please do feel free to like and subscribe to Eurogamer, as we will come out with more videos about video games. Bet you didn't expect that. Now, I'm going to go and play some Breath of the Wild because it's been too long since I've seen my wife Urbosa, so I'll see you folks next time.